Hi everyone, my name's Frankie and welcome to my channel. And yes, I am playing Stardew Valley right now. Well, I was, but it was for the backdrop. Anyways, by the title of this video, obviously you know that I think WandaVision is full of wasted potential. This is not to say that I hate WandaVision. I actually really loved the series. It was really enjoyable. I loved watching it, but I feel like there was so much wasted potential to what this series could have been, and I feel like should have been in the end. I actually wrote out what I was gonna say, but my file got corrupted. It got corrupted. The one time I write it out, it gets corrupted, and now I don't know what to do. So I'm just gonna say based off of what I remember of what I wrote and just like what I think, basically, of why I think it's wasted potential. I think one of the first things that comes to mind when I think of WandaVision being wasted potential is the characters. You see, obviously, Wanda's not the only character in WandaVision. You have Monica, Darcy, Jimmy, Agatha, Vision, her kids, blah blah blah, Hayward. And many of those characters are not developed. Like, the main issue is they don't have their own agency as their own character. For example, for Monica, when we do get to see Monica outside of Westview, it's right after she comes back from the snap, but we don't see her grieve. As soon as that, we see her get back to work, blah blah blah. And her whole role, her entire role in the show was to prop up the white characters. She was her whole purpose was defending Wanda, being there for Wanda, providing her comfort. But who's providing Monica comfort? And they don't give us a reason as to why she does this. That's also a problem. Like in the last episode, she's like, oh, I know if I had your powers, I would have brought my mom back. And that's literally almost all this series tells us about Monica, that she lost her mom and she doesn't think Wanda is evil. That's it. And that's an issue. And the same can be said about her friends, the people that she's working with, Jimmy and Darcy. In the beginning when they're first introduced, you got these interesting characters, but nothing is done with them. They're just there for the backdrop and for some comedy relief, and it's weird because you see glimpses of what these characters could be and what interesting things that they could do, but we don't get that. And another character that really suffers from this is Agatha. She is such an interesting villain, but she does not have a motivation. All we know is that she wants Wanda's power, but why does she want Wanda's power is the issue. Because we're not given that. And people are like, oh, it's to bring back her dead husband Ralph or whatever. And it's that's from the comics. They don't explicitly say that in the TV show. We don't have her motivation. We don't know why she's doing this. And we don't know what's her driving force, and that's an issue. And because of that, she feels like a flat villain who that's just doing shit for the shits and giggles, you know? And then also Hayward also could have been an interesting villain, but then he gets pushed to the side. We forget about him, and then he pops back up in the finale to shoot at Wanda's sons. And then this also pissed me off. They use Monica, who is a black woman, as a human shield for white characters. You see the problem here? Monica was one of my favorite characters, but especially after that scene, I literally could not look at her because that was traumatic for me. Because as a black person, and I'm pretty sure many other black people share this sentiment, but there's this genuine fear of getting shot at, and seeing that does not feel good, at all, you know? What else? And the same could be said about Evan Peters' character, Peter / Pietro, whatever, and how they use him for a boner joke, a literal dick joke. That's what they used him for in the end. And I'll dive into like more of what I think about that later into the video. But like, yeah, like that wasn't cute at all. that actually pissed me off, you know? Okay, the next point I want to make is that WandaVision had a promising beginning, but a distasteful ending. The thing is, the ending for WandaVision, after, like, literally after Wanda, we find out who she truly is, like what her powers actually mean, and like she goes back home with her family, da 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 da. That's actually really good, and I feel like I literally cried like crazy during those scenes because I was like, oh my god, it's all gone now. But like, other than that, like, there's not much to say. Like, people say, like, I've seen people on Twitter talk about how WandaVision, like, it's supposed to be about Wanda and her journey, and I understand that, but it becomes an issue when her journey is actually becomes stale because the other characters in the story aren't compelling enough to uphold the story. Like, the thing is, these characters, they had the markings to be compelling, and they have shown to be compelling, but they weren't used in that way. They were literally used to be human props, which isn't good, you know? And like, the thing is, and I feel like this has to do with WandaVision being a part of the MCU. And what I mean by that is because in the beginning of the series, before we get introduced to characters that are like outside of Wanda's created reality, it's basically like anything could go, right? It's like anything could go. It's just going like this or that way, and it would have a completely different vibe, and it was a mystery because it's like you don't know what's gonna happen next. But then once they open it up to the universe, the preset universe that they have now, those events have to align with the universe that they already created, and that's a problem because now there's no room for actual creativity because now you're restricted within the continuity that already exists within that reality. Like, for example, Wanda's past and how she got her powers, blah, 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 that had to be connected back into the MCU, like about how like Stark like was the reason why her parents died, blah 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 blah, stuff like that. Or like what else? The snap, the after effects about the snap, stuff like that. And it's not just like stuff that already happened, but stuff that has to happen in the future. I feel like that really screws up the series. Because like they're talking about how like they want to open up the multiverse and how this series is supposed to be the gateway to opening up the multiverse, but they didn't deliver that like at all. Like what I said about Evan Peters earlier, like Evan Peters Quicksilver, they used him for a boner joke of all things. Like they had the chance to like make a really compelling story, something really compelling, an interesting view of Marvel, of these Marvel characters, but now they can't just do that. They can't really do that in the series because again, it has to connect back into the MCU. So even if they want to do something, they can't do it like that because now it has to fit into this overarching plot. The thing is that I'm kind of getting tired of this overarching plot. Like, for how long is this overarching plot gonna continue? When will we get that ending that we want? Because like the MCU was created in like what, 2008 with the first Iron Man movie. That's like the marking of like, that's what they consider the marking of the MCU because that ties in back into the MCU, you know? But like in 2008, okay, let me give you for reference. Right now I am 17. In 2008 I was what? I was 5. In 2008, I was 5. And now I'm 17. How long is this going to continue? How long is this series going to continue? When will we reach the conclusion of this series? Like, that's what, like, this is a genuine question that I have, and I feel like this story suffers from that because now it doesn't have an actual genuine conclusion and closure for these characters, because now their overarching story has to fit into this like larger scale universe, which is why I also feel like all these characters were underdeveloped, because now they have to fit these characters into other slots in other movies, and now we don't have a satisfying story. It's not a good thing. It's really not. And it makes me sad and disappointed. Because like I saw WandaVision. WandaVision is a good story. It's a good TV show and it's a good story. But it's not an amazing one. And stuff like this like hinders what they can do with this story. Like, if you take it out of the restraints of the MCU, if you just like isolated this story in its own universe, there's so much way more that you could do with it. And it's possible, like they could have done that and introduced that into the multiverse like that or something. I don't know. But like it just wasn't satisfying, and it makes me worried for like the other stuff that they're gonna put out, because now it makes me wonder, it's like, are these gonna suffer the same thing because now they have to tie into this overarching universe? Like, that's what I'm wondering. And like, when will this universe end? When will I have the conclusion that I want to see for my favorite characters? You know? And it's sad. And like, some of the characters didn't even get endings that I feel like made sense for the character arc. For example, Captain America, but I don't want to get into that right now because this is a video about WandaVision. But like, I don't know, that's just how I feel. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Because like, I literally cannot look at Monica like right now because of that traumatic scene. And then you got Jimmy Woo and Darcy. These characters completely stole the scene for me. Like it made me want to like focus on them. And it's like, there's so much that you could have done, so much, but like you're chained down by something else. So like you have to hinder your idea. And I don't know what else to say. There's so much going on in my head right now, but I don't know what else to like to word it, because like that's literally what it is. You have characters, an amazing cast of characters that can be used in like a multitude of different ways, a multitude of creative and interesting ways to keep the story going. But it's like it's halting. And like people are like making fun of like fans for like, oh, you got your hopes up, blah 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 blah, with all these theories and stuff. But when that's no one's fault. For these types of shows, with mystery shows, making theories is a given. And like, especially with the way, again, this is set in a preset universe, so with the way it was set up, it seemed like they were going into a certain direction, but like it just disappointed people. And like, again, I just feel like maybe had it not been a part of a larger or overarching like universe, it probably would have turned out better. But like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And I don't like I love the MCU, but it's like, it brings me to question is like whether or not having a huge overarching movie series like this is even like that goes on for this long is even really a good thing to begin with. But I don't know. Thanks for watching this video. I just wanted to give my thoughts on the latest WandaVision episode after I saw it like yesterday. I would have probably made this sooner, a little bit sooner, but like, you know, I had school, stuff like that. That's why I haven't been uploading as often as I wanted to. But thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a thumbs up and maybe share your thoughts in the comments about this. I am no way hating on WandaVision. I really do love this show. I just like, there's so much that I wish and feel like that could have been done with it. So like, share your thoughts in the comments below. this is not the only these aren't the only issues that I have with this show, but like this is like how I feel like these are my problems with the show in the context of how it like in the direction that I was taken. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.